Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good end to your fourth week of classes. Time flies when you're having fun. Just a few things I want to talk about today. Mostly I want to talk about Chapter 4 and go through the material a little bit in that chapter. But real quick, before we go there, I just want to point out to everybody that with the discussion assignments, I want to see your thoughts. So please do not put out there a blank post in order to allow yourself to see what other people are posting. So I've had more of a problem with that than I would like to have seen, and so if it continues, I'll have to start marking people down. Just don't do it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about Chapter 4, and then we'll talk about the assignment for the Chapter 4 briefly. All right, so Chapter 4 is all about discussion of social responsibility versus marketing ethics. And you'll see when you get to the Mind Tap assignments, there's some pretty fine lines between the two. And really, in some cases, you could put them in one fence or one yard or the other. So for me, some of those lines are really fine, and that's part of the reason why I had a good portion of the Mind Tap assignment be kind of open for you to see the feedback from the system. So we'll go a little bit into the differences between social responsibility and marketing ethics. Okay, so social responsibility has to do with marketing citizenship and basically being a good citizen to your stakeholders, to your environment, to your consumers, really to everybody involved. And so there's three major categories that are presented in the textbook. Sustainability has to do with having a concern for the natural environment. Consumerism has to do with being concerned with consumer rights and community relations. Makes sense. It would have sense. It would have to do with having some concern for the community. So those are the three major areas discussed in the book for social responsibility. Basically being a good citizen. Marketing ethics, on the other hand, has to do with how you conduct business as a marketer. And so it was quite a lot of discussion actually in the chapter on this, but if you boil it down, the book is pointing out that you can have ethical issues, how you conduct business. You can have issues with that with respect to product, price, promotion, distribution, any of the 4 Ps. And you can realize issues in your organization, ethical issues related to individuals operating in the company and their own particular choices, or you may have issues related to the organization itself and the culture that's been developed there to reward behavior, discourage behavior, and so forth. And then thirdly, you may have issues in your company that relate to infrastructure or places where there's opportunity to misbehave that become tempting to employees. So the book discusses all 3 of those, and really, let me see here. I think I've summarized. Yeah. So so when it comes down to it for this chapter, you should know the difference between social responsibility, which is more concern for the world, kind of external looking, more of a philosophical conversation, versus marketing ethics, which is more about internal to your company. How do you do business, and how do you conduct yourselves to be ethically responsible? Now, the book points out in a couple places that marketing ethics really represents just one part of social responsibility. So if you look at the pyramid of social responsibility, there's one layer there that is specifically labeled ethics. And so you can think of it that way too, that marketing ethics has more to do with just a portion of social responsibility, that portion where you are going to conduct yourself according to the norms of your society. What's right, what's wrong, what are the values there? So in a nutshell, here are the definitions and concepts I would like to have you pull from this chapter. Know what social responsibility is, know what marketing ethics is, know what cause-related marketing is, know what a code of conduct is, code of ethics, And then have some ability to discuss marketing citizenship. What is a stakeholder orientation, and how does all of that relate to the pyramid of social responsibility? Um, know what sustainability goals are. If you're talking to people in business, what is the standard for what a sustainable marketing position would be? Know what consumerism rights are. The right to be heard, the right to safety, the right to choose. There's one more you can look in the book. But know what those are all about. And then finally, read that. At the very end of the chapter, there's some discussion about how to build ethical practices into your company and what that does for you as a company. So read through that and have an understanding, too, of what is to be gained by being a socially responsible marketing operation, what that'll do for you as a company. Okay? All right, so enough on chapter 4. The discussion for this week, for this chapter, actually asks you to address each of those sections. What is REI's stakeholder position? How are they behaving socially responsible? And how are they building an ethical culture into their operation? So I'll look for discussion of that for each of those questions, and I'll look for you to be including terms and concepts from the chapter in your conversation. Just turning a little bit to MindTap here real quick. I thought the MindTap assignments were difficult this week, and so I originally had just the homework open where you could check your answers and come to the right answers, and in the end I left it open also for the quiz. So this is, if you put the time into this assignment, this is an easy assignment for you to get 100%. So again, I thought that some of those questions were splitting hairs between social responsibility and ethics, and all of the different twists that could be presented for those two different major categories. So that's why I did that, and just wanted to explain that. So we're going to be moving on to Chapter 5. I'll have some kind of a coverage of Chapter 5 available to you much earlier in the week, next week. And looking forward to it. Fall is coming on. I don't know about y'all, but we got flies. Oh my gosh, we got flies. So if we get that first freeze and we can kind of turn our heads to fall and get rid of the flies, that'd be great. Have a good week.